Your mind is a special place. Either you can control it or be controlled instead. The mind gets boxed in because of so many mental traps on the daily. It feels like our challenges are endless, as these mental traps can hold us captive. We will explore 7 important psychological traps that can undermine your strength and discuss how you can break free from them. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It really supports us. Now let's get started. Number 7. Never pay heed to should statements. Have you ever felt caught in a whirlwind of shoulds and shouldn'ts? This mental turbulence, commonly referred to as the should mind trap, can create the impression that you're bound by strict expectations. It concerns how you or others should think, feel, or behave. When you think you should have done better, it's a feeling that will always leave you wanting more. And that's something you need to get rid of. We all try to do the most we can, right? But obstacles are a part of everyone's life, which frankly are an inconvenience. The mind is what controls your mental health. A single center plays a part in regulating so many emotions and feelings. You're all mature out there, so if you have something on your mind, let the other person know that, without being rude, of course. Understand there's a problem when you start believing in should statements. It shows that you could have done better, but you didn't for some reason. Stuff happens. We make mistakes and we move on. Try not to let the current situation mess things up for your future. When you start thinking in terms of better reactions, eventually those reactions will come into play later on. Number 6. Avoid judgments on others and yourself. Do you ever put yourself or others down with harsh words? Calling yourself terrible, useless, or a bad friend can get you stuck in a pattern of negative thoughts that's difficult to break free from. Thinking things like, "They are so dumb," can also make your interactions more negative and misunderstood. So here's what you're supposed to know. When you put a label on someone, you're fixating on them. You're seeing them in a way that does not allow your mindset to improve. Before these negative labels end up becoming permanent, it's time you got rid of them from your head. They aren't doing you or the other person any good. When negative thoughts take over, blocking them out is the right thing to do. Don't believe even for a second that they are facts. They always come about to mess you up. Don't give in. You are your biggest supporter. And that's not how you would talk to someone you love, would you? Show yourself the same empathy and deal better with the situation. Instead of labeling yourself or others, try describing specific behaviors. For example, instead of saying, "I'm hopeless," you could say, "I'm having trouble with this, but I'll try a different way." Stop with the labeling right this instant. Instead of using the term hopeless, you can instead look at things in a different way. It's never too late to take a look at things from another angle. Talking like this helps you and others learn and get better without feeling weighed down by negative labels. When you have an optimistic outlook when discussing yourself, you create a more positive atmosphere that helps everyone grow and bounce back from challenges. Number 5. Negative filtering. Have you noticed how often you zero in on the negatives, overlooking any positive aspects? This tendency is known as negative filtering. It's a common mental trap where your focus magnifies the bad and minimizes the good. Of course, we can't succeed in every single test life throws at us. However, even the failures are part of the learning curve. They allow you to improve and do much better than before. That's progress too, isn't it? Think of it this way. When learning a dance routine, you might obsess over a single misstep, telling yourself, "My memory is so bad." This focus can extend to others as well, such as thinking, "I can't see anything useful they've done." Negative filtering often intensifies under stress, making it easy to fall into this mindset without even realizing it. To break out of this negative cycle, start by noticing the good things in your life. When you find yourself fixating on the bad, take a moment to think about what went well. For every negative thought, try to come up with at least one positive one. Number 4. Generalizing every assumption. Overgeneralizing happens when you take one event and think it's always going to be that way. You start to believe that every situation will end up the same. Thinking this way is a common habit amongst many people, but it's not helpful. It's misleading because it doesn't consider all different experiences you've been through. This mindset can also change how you see other people. You might make assumptions about what they're thinking and twist those thoughts to fit your own views. This habit of overgeneralizing can distort your view of reality and make you feel more negative. It's why you need to break these patterns when they occur. When you do, challenge them by remembering times when the opposite was true. Did you ever have a fun day? Think about a meeting where you shared your ideas clearly. Every relationship has a different angle to it. Look at all of them in their own way, or every relationship will result in disappointment. Assumption kills all the good things in the world. The moment you stop assuming things in your head, that is the moment where you get clarity. You realize that you can only influence events with the decisions you make, not by thinking of things that can go wrong. Number 3. Jumping to immediate conclusions. You might catch yourself making quick judgments about situations without having all the details. This is called jumping to conclusions, and it often involves assuming you know what others are thinking, also known as mind reading. You may believe someone's actions are a direct negative response to you, or even intended to harm you without really knowing what's happening with them. This tendency is common in relationships or friendships, where you might misinterpret why someone is acting a certain way. When you assume the worst about someone's actions without good reason, you're jumping to conclusions. Catching yourself doing this allows you to pause, get more information, and understand the situation better before responding. To break this bad habit, make an effort to communicate more openly with the people around you. Not only does it help you avoid awkward situations, but people stop expecting bad communication from your end. When you let people know that you're emotionally and mentally mature, there's no way they'll make an immediate judgment about you. Even generally speaking, our habit of formulating opinions about people after only meeting them once doesn't do any good. You need to spend time with a person to understand how they think and act. Be free from jumping to conclusions by being empathetic to other people, especially when meeting strangers. Number 2. Black and white thoughts. Black and white thoughts are thoughts that are somewhere between positive and negative ones. This way of thinking can lead you to problems because you fail to consider all the aspects of a given situation. For instance, if you allow your mind to think like this, "If I don't get this job, my career is over," you're being blind to other better opportunities that you might land in the future. To avoid creating such confused thoughts, be aware of when you're using words such as always or never. When you find yourself using these words, try to block them out altogether. If that becomes difficult, rephrase it in your head while being easy on yourself. Don't say, "I always get it wrong." Instead, try to recall times when you did well. Thus, being aware of your thoughts and feelings means that you can react to them in a more flexible and sophisticated manner. Discussions with a therapist can also help you modify such patterns of thinking and help you start perceiving things in a less black and white manner. That means that by understanding that there isn't always a right or wrong, you can decrease stress and establish better relationships. This results in an overall more flexible and positive attitude. Number 1. Overconfidence. Overconfidence can backfire real bad. It forces people to make the wrong decisions. When you're overconfident, you always assume yourself to be the smartest one in the room. Well, we've got news for you, pal. There's always someone that's going to be much smarter than you. That's a fact. To get rid of such arrogance, one needs to be humble at all times. When you don't know enough, listen. When you do, contribute, but let others talk too. It's always useful to seek opinions from other people, especially those who have different background knowledge as you. It also helps to manage the ego. One can also try to look for information that may contradict the given beliefs and assumptions, which will also assist in minimizing biases. Another good strategy is to focus on the concept of a growth mindset as a way of combating overconfidence. If you can view the obstacles as opportunities for growth and development, and not as a threat to one's ego, one can go through life with more reasonable expectations and less rigidity. One must look back at some of the decisions they've made in the past and the outcomes of those decisions to identify cases where one was overconfident. Thus, being confident is fine, but being overconfident is a no-no. Once you're aware of yourself, this will allow you to make better life decisions and remain satisfied with those decisions, thus resulting in a relaxed and more satisfied life. If you want to watch more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel